This episode of Give on the River is brought to you by NBCC Miramichi Campus. Potential lives here. Hi Miramichi, welcome to another episode of Give on the River. Today we're here in beautiful Burnchurch, New Brunswick. We're getting ready to do some lobster fishing. Heading out probably 8 or 10 miles off the bay here. It's a little chilly this morning. It's 5 o'clock and we're getting geared up to go lobster fishing. Here we go. We're just getting started here. We're heading out with the fleet. It's about 6 boats. We're all headed for the fishing grounds. I feel like Forrest Gump. See, you got your lobster rolls, you got your lobster casserole, you got your lobster sandwich, you got your lobster, you got your buttered lobster, you got your garlic lobster, you got your lobster pate, you got your red lobster, your rock lobster, your cooked lobster. You got all kinds. Folks, we're here with Greg Ross. We're doing some lobster fishing out in the Outer Bay in Miramichi. Just out of curiosity, Greg, how do you find your lobster traps?
We have a spotter, and we mark our line on the spotter with the accent.
So each one is connected to a GPS system?
Yes, it is, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Well, we're coming up on some traps here right now. I'm gonna let you navigate, and I'll get it your way.
Okay.
Here we have a fine example of what they use for bait here. It's called the Cancer eradicatus, or the rock crab. He's not saying much. He's a little B.O. He's going to be a bait in a lobster trap here in about 5 minutes. Okay, so we got some crab here. Of course, we use a crab to bait the lobster.
Sometimes. Depends on where we are, but when we do use crab for bait, what we'll do is we'll take the claws off, and take the top off. We'll use this for bait. Usually we'll break it in two, fold it like this, and put it on the bait pin. But you'll see that later.
So that was a little disgusting. So that's perfect.
So what will happen is a lobster will come in this hole here, one of the hoops, into these little heads, and they'll come in for the bait. So this is called the kitchen. And so they'll come in and have a little snack, and then maybe they'll go back out the door they came in or go out the other one. Or sometimes they might walk up these heads here, the bigger heads, or maybe a bigger lobster comes in and scares them, or they get into a little fight. They might back up here, and once they fall down in here, this is the parlor, or sort of like the living room. Once they're in here, they fall down. They can't climb back up in here very easily. And then if we get some smaller lobsters that come back in here, they can go out the escape hatch right here. If they're undersized, they can fit out here.
Okay, so we're some lobster fishermen, you say, are superstitious.
Yeah.
And we just haul the claws off for what reason?
Well, some people think that if you do leave the claws on the crabs, the lobsters will be a little afraid to come in the trap, maybe. Or maybe a smaller lobster will be afraid to come in the trap to take the bait, so they rip the claws right off. Same as you can't bring a banana on the boats. Bad luck.
No bananas.
No bananas. You'll have wind.
Uh-oh.
I think we might have to throw them over.
That's okay. So how long is the season, the lobster season?
Lobster season is usually 2 months long, so it usually starts May 1st and ends at the end of June. But this year, because we had a really mild winter, the lobster season actually started on April 26th. So because we started a week earlier, we're going to end a week earlier as well.
So when you bring the lobster back to the wharf, who buys it? Like what happens to it from there?
We have we sell to the Berry Group, and so they process their fish actually in Niguac.
Okay.
So we sell to them. They have a truck right on the wharf, and they have scales. So later this afternoon, they'll give us some totes, and we'll dump our lobsters in that. They'll weigh them for us, and then that's how we sell our lobsters. And I think they process most of their lobsters right on site.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So with a male lobster, what you're going to see are these swimmerettes at the top are modified. The males ones are hard, quite a bit larger. And then right here, the females ones are quite soft. You'll also see differences in the size of the width of their tail. So there's quite a bit of a difference in the width.
So the female has to carry eggs, therefore should have a wider shelf.
Similar to why women have wider hips than men.
Giddy up.
So this is a pretty big female lobster, and she's buried. So you can see her eggs she's carrying all underneath her tail along her swimmerets. There are little hairs that she attaches them to. So she'll carry them under there. Right now these ones are getting a little bit bigger. When they're new, they'll be a dark gray or dark black, dark brown color, and they get lighter and lighter as they get larger. So what we do with female lobsters that are buried is we put them back in the water. Baby one, but it's still angry.
Yeah. Hi, Mary Machine. We're here with Larry the lobster. How do you feel about getting caught here this morning, Larry? I don't blame you a bit. He's a cute little bugger. Hello, buddy.
This is the crusher claw right here. That's for, well, crushing. And this is more along the lines of the shredding claw. So if they grabbed onto a fish with this one, and sort of use this one as their knife or their fork. And then their mouths are right back in here. And if I can open these up, you can see their teeth in there in between, I think. Yep.
Is that a male or a female lobster?
It's the male.
He has a big claw.
Yeah, don't stick your finger in there, okay? It might hurt a little. And I'm not really sure how old he would be. Would you like to hold him?
I'm going to say he's 10 years old.
Okay, 10 years old. Probably a little older than that.
What are we going to name him, Frank? Ah! He's trying to get a hold of me. Lester the lobster. He's a handsome devil. So is he a keeper?
Oh, he's definitely a keeper.
I might bring him home, put him in a tank.
All right, I hope you have a big tank. Sculpin.
That's a sculpin.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a codfish, doesn't it?
How many codfish have you seen?
I've never seen a codfish.
Maybe we'll catch a codfish later so you can see it. This
Okay.
is a sculpin, and he's not very happy with me, and he's actually growling in my hand. So what he sometimes will do is they'll puff up, and so you can see that there are these sharp parts right here.
Oh, yeah.
They puff up their head and make them look bigger and scarier than they are.
So is he going to help us out with bait today?
Yes, he will.
He's a handsome bait.
A sea raven or a hen fish, and they're related to the sculpins, but they don't have the picky spines on them like they do.
Okay.
And what they'll do is they'll gasp air and they'll fill their swim bladder up here. And these are also known as Dolly Partons because that's what they look like once they fill their swim bladder up.
Hey kids, we're down here in the cuddy of the SS Ross. We're heading to our next line of traps. It's about 10 miles away, so we got about a half an hour to stretch and rest our bones. It's a very calm day in the bay today, and Sarah tells me that it's a pretty easy day to be on the water.
Oh, it's a beautiful day today.
I've always heard the expression getting my sea legs, and now I understand. Like right now my legs are exhausted, my calves are like rocks, trying to just, I might be laying down here in maybe another half an hour or so for a nap.
Nap time.
Right now Frank and I, we have pretty aggressive days sometimes, so today it feels like it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and really it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. We've been at it for 4 hours now, and you know, we're giving her.
Well, you had a good breakfast to start it all off.
We did, of course, quarter pounder cheeses and a large fry and a Diet Coke to start my day. We're glad to be on it, and hopefully we don't get in the way and screw things up.
Oh, well, if you do, we'll just throw you in the water.
I got snared, Frankie. Okay, I'm done. Sure, Scar. Well, sorry, we want to say thank you very much for having us out for the day. We really enjoyed ourselves.
Excellent.
Frank had a great time sitting around all day. I had a great time
You
pulling
had
lobster.
a great time doing all my work today. Thanks.
No problem. That's what I do. Well, like I must say, like this is the very first time that I've ever been lobster fishing, and there was a lot of surprises, difficult and hard work, and but I really appreciate you allowing me to on board to do it, and I had a great time.
No problem. One thing I would like to say is that this isn't the only way to fish lobster. This is just the way we fish lobster. So if you went out on another boat, even another boat from our wharf, they'd have their own way that they do it.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Come again.
Giver, you're on the river.